It didn't feel right. That's why President Trump said he canceled a second meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. It comes as the latest development in President Trump's push to end the war in Ukraine. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest details.
This morning, stalemate on stalemate as President Trump announced a second planned summit with Russian President Putin aiming to end the war in Ukraine is off.
It didn't feel right to me. It didn't feel like we were going to get to the place we have to get.
While new sanctions are on against Russia's two biggest oil companies, the Treasury Department citing Russia's, quote, lack of a serious commitment to a peace process.
I think that they'll certainly have an impact. They're massive sanctions.
Lawmakers in both parties have long pushed for tougher sanctions, Republicans applauding the president's move.
You have to compel Russia to engage in the peace process. They've shown they cannot be trusted.
Democrats still pressing for the bipartisan sanctions bill that goes much further.
Well, until Trump decides that he's going to back the bill here in Congress that puts real sanctions on Russia, and until he decides he's going to get another round of weapons to Ukraine, it's a good day every day for Vladimir Putin.
The urgency is clear in a deadly week for Ukraine. Here, firefighters carrying children from the scene after Ukrainian officials say Russian strikes hit a kindergarten. President Putin also overseeing a nuclear exercise as President Trump met with the NATO Secretary General, who promised increased pressure from Europe, including the latest in a string of sanctions packages, in a joint bid to choke off Russia's economy and force Putin to the table. Administration officials tell NBC News a phone call between the Secretary of State and Russian Foreign Minister ended when Russia said fighting will continue until it gets concessions from Ukraine. Ukraine's president, meeting today with European leaders in Brussels, is reasserting that he will not give up territory to Russia. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.